Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. Call William La Adonai Yahweh, Bashim Shalom, Lak Yahushai, Bashim Rakadash. Double honors to the apostle and elders of Millstone. Peace, citation, full Shalom. And this video is going to be about Black Mother 4 was shot, killed by a neighbor. Her family wants the woman who shot her arrested. As the title says, this was published on June 6, 2023, updated 10:17 a.m. This is a CNN article, and it says a mother of four was shot and killed in Florida following a long-time feud with a neighbor who had complained about the victim's children playing outside, authorities and a family attorney said. Deputies responded to a trespassing call Friday night and found one woman suffering from a gunshot wound. Marion County, Florida. Sheriff Billy Wood said in a Monday news conference. The victim was identified by authorities as Ajike A.J. Owens. She was 35. The shooter, also a woman, engaged with Owens' children and threw a pair of skates, hitting the children, the sheriff said. A witness told police there had been a dispute over a child's electronic tablet device prior to the shooter throwing the skates at the children, according to an incident report from the sheriff's office. Following that interaction, one of the children went back inside their home and told their mother, who went to the neighbor's home, to, quote, to confront the lady, the sheriff said. According to the shooter, there was, in quote, a lot of aggressiveness from both sides, as well as threats being made, and Owens was ultimately shot through the door, Wood said. Witnesses told authorities Owens went to the shooter's home and knocked on the door before she was shot, according to the incident report. Owens was later pronounced dead at a hospital, authorities said. The woman who fired at Owens has been cooperating with law enforcement, the sheriff added. No arrest has been made in the case. Authorities have not named the shooter or shared any identifying information, but civil rights attorney Ben Crump, one of the attorneys representing the family, identified her as a white woman according to a news release from his office Monday. The incident report also described the shooter as a 58-year-old white woman in a separate news conference held by Owens' family attorneys. The victim's mother said the neighbor who shot her daughter had called the family, including the children, racial slurs. The neighbor's door, quote, never opened when Owens, who was black, tried to confront her, and she was shot through the door, Pamela Diaz, the victim's mother said. And quote, my daughter, my grandchildren's mother, was shot and killed with her 9-year-old son standing next to her. She had no weapon. She posed no imminent threat to anyone, Diaz said. And quote, what I'm asking for is justice, she added. Justice for my daughter. Pamela Diaz, the mother of Ajike A.J. Owens, says she wants justice for my daughter. Speaking to MSNBC Monday night, Crump said the fact that there has not been an arrest in the case is appalling. And quote, it is asinine when they try to justify this unjustifiable killing of this mother of four who was killed in front of her children, Crump said. And quote, it is heartbreaking on every level. A verified GoFundMe page to support Owens' family had raised more than $30,000 by Monday night. Sheriff's references stand your ground law. In Monday's news conference, authorities pleaded for calm and patience as they investigated the shooting, worked to recover possible video footage, and interview the children who witnessed the incident. The sheriff also asked for anyone with the information to come forward. While responding to criticism about how long the investigation and a possible arrest is taken, the sheriff referenced the state's stand your ground law. The law allows people to meet, unquote, force of force if they believe they or someone else is in danger of being seriously harmed by an assailant. And quote, what a lot of people don't understand is that law has specific instructions for us in law enforcement, he said. And quote, anytime that we think or perceive or believe that might come into play, We cannot make an arrest. The law specifically says that. End quote. What we have to rule out is whether the deadly force was justified or not before we can even make the arrest, he said. Authorities had received reports from two neighbors dating back to at least January 2021. The sheriff said those reports included calls from the shooter complaining about the Owens children. The sheriff said, adding that it was children being children, either being on somebody's property or playing in front of the multiplex. And quote, here's what I wish. I wish our shooter would have called us instead of taking action into our own hands. I wish Miss Owens would have called us in hopes we could have never got to the point in which we are here today, he said. And quote, pray for those children, pray for each and every one of them. Woods added their life has changed. The sheriff vowed to Owens' family and friends that his office is going to do everything to bring justice. Let's just say that promise and that vow that he made may not be fully met, because there's a lot of things that our people, as a nation of people, that we're still going through to this day. Some of the stuff that we're going through is not even being reported, and these devils on this side is getting away with a lot, and it's more than just murder at this point. So with that, I'll bring out some precepts, Lord willing, make this less edifying to you hopeful elect out there as you in this video. And Psalm 73, verse 3 says, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covered them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. And pretty much like this is talking about the so-called white man. This is all the wickedness of the so-called white man. He's a devil, and they don't suffer like the rest of our people do, because of the simple fact that this is their kingdom. You see, that's the thing that our people got to understand. So when you're dealing with these type of people, you can't just, especially out in the country, in you know, well, in America, like in the South, going down there, and they're trying to, I guess, go on their yard, going on their porch to try to confront them, especially if you know it was a problem from the start. If you heard that someone that you know, whether it be relatives or friends or whatever, that dealt with a racist white person, you should always call the cops at least and let them try to like mediate the situation, but don't just try to go up and try to talk to these people, because you don't know, it could end up sometimes with you not making it out alive, because they could just always find any reason to shoot you down and say that, oh, they was afraid for their life, but ultimately they're just lying and they really wanted to kill you. Yep. And that's pretty much how this devil Esau is. Scriptures already tell you that their words are smooth as butter, soft as oil, and they draw swords. And a gun is a sword. So, but, you know, that's their intentions, you know, the so-called white man. You know, they say one thing, but they speak with a double tongue too. You know, and this whole stand your ground is meant to protect yourself. Yeah, of course, but in this sense, like, this woman wasn't acting belligerent on the porch, and it's not like she broke through the door and or broke through the window to try to invade the home. You know what I mean? So that really shows you that women are that the white woman is she's a wicked bitch for doing that shit. You know, and she was in the wrong for that. So I don't even know if they will even go as far as arresting her and seeking justice for that black woman that was shot. Because a lot of times they make those false promises and they don't seem to keep their promises when it's coming to dealing with the nation of our people. So, another thing in verse 5, they don't really go through the same troubles that our people go through when it's coming to like experiencing racism, right? Experiencing the poverty. Well, can't really say poverty too much because they're starting to experience a little tad of the curses. That's something that Esau is starting to, experience. I'm talking about like uh, the low level Edomites that you see every day. They start to experience a decent fraction of the curses that our people have been going through for so long. You know, some of them are starting to experience that shit, but ultimately, they don't really suffer what our people have been suffering for so long. Because when it's coming to the nation of our people, like we're especially those that's in this truth, like we've been in trouble on every damn side. You know, they haven't had a touch of those curses yet. So, and the Most High already promised that in the scripture that in Deuteronomy, I believe it was chapter 30, where he promised that he will put all these curses upon our enemies, and we're only seeing a small portion of them going through some of the curses that we've been going through for so long. In the kingdom, you best believe those curses are going to be intensified. But without further ado, let me just get back on this lesson and bring out a few more precepts before I close out. Yeah, Psalm 55, it says, verse 20, he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. It says, verse 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they drawn swords. So that's something about these people that you gotta really watch out for. Because the white lady claimed she was defending herself, she stood her ground, and all this bullshit. But truly, her intentions was she wanted to kill a Jake. That's pretty much what was her intention, and that's how she felt. That she wanted to kill the so-called black person, which could be from the tribe of Judah, and that's who she wanted to kill, just for going on her yard, and just for standing on the porch and trying to talk to her, and she could always use the excuse. Well, she claimed that that lady was being aggressive at the door, which was a complete lie, because that's not what it was said on the report. So when she gave her input on what went on in the situation, she claimed that that's what happened. And one thing about these white people, they lie a lot, even if they have camera footage too. They will try to make up a lie and try to sound like they're telling the truth. And then at the same time, they get caught up on their lies, and then it's like they still get away with murder. And lying to the police as it already is should be clear evidence that you know that you're a liar, one, and two, that should be they should be charged for doing that shit. But you see, when a white person does something, they get away with it. So, because like the scripture said, they're not troubled as other men. So Ezekiel 35, verse 5 says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, at the time that their iniquity had an end. uh, verse 3, the Lord mentioned that he will he will stretch out his hand and will make Esau desolate and make his cities desolate. So, that's what that's what uh, Esau's going to look forward to, from the Most High. That how the Most High is going to destroy, pretty much like all the stuff that Esau has in their possession, and he's going to lay them desolate, because of the shit that they put us through. And because to this day, these Edomites are like the ancient Pharaoh, mainly talking about the elites. They don't want to let our people go, and they deserve to let us go, and they still want to keep us in captivity, And the fact of the matter is that these devils, they've been responsible for the bloodshed of our people over the past I'll say like pretty much about like it's been about almost like 500 years, that our people have been in captivity, because even being in hardcore bondage, I was like the worst of the worst that we've been through. And then aside from that, after the hardcore bondage was institutionalized slavery, certain time period, our people doing sharecropping, working in the plantation, and then over time, to this point where just working regular 9 to 5 jobs, and they're still able to do things to us and get away with it. They're able to kill us, and get away with that shit, and it's like nothing to them. So they literally are getting away with murder. But that's the thing when it's coming to these people. These people do wickedness, and it's like it comes like nothing to them. But it's all right, because at the end of the day, the Most High said He's gonna promise to give Esau double for what they did to us, because they have a perpetual hatred against us. And that's why the Most High promised that He's gonna really take Esau and lay his lands desolate. But hope I made the lesson edifying. I'd like to close out with that. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Adonai Yahweh, Bashim Shabbat, Yahweh Shabbat, Bashim Kakadash, to balance to the apostle and Elsgate Millstone, peace, citation, don't forget. Yahweh Bashim Shabbat, 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 Shalak, William, Arawanyam, Laka, William, Papa, Shalom.